Hi everyone. If you're a fan of Rex Ray and you'd like to watch me rework this canvas that I made inspired by him a while ago, then that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to cover up a lot of what I've done with cut up pieces of paper, and I'm going to collage over that and see if I can't turn this piece of work, which I will try to show you now, into something, it's really too big, into something that's more me and a little less forced. So if you'd like to join me to do that, that's what we're going to do. So I'll see you back over here in a minute, okay? Thank you. Bye. Hello, everyone. I've been away for a while because I have a lot of personal stuff going on in my life, but what I'm getting ready to do today is revisit this collage, which some of you will remember as my first ever Rex Ray inspired collage, which I built on camera, I don't know, maybe a month or 2 or 3 ago, I'm not sure. But even though I had a potential buyer for it, I found myself reluctant to sell it because there's a whole bunch about this that I don't love. So what I have today are what's left over of the papers from this printing session. And because I have fearlessly covered up stuff that I don't like on my past projects, I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to cover it up. This particular area here, you probably can't see it. I'm going to have to show it to you. This looks like eyes and teeth. Can you see it? I can't have that. This part I like. I like the idea of this, but I don't like this. This is not for me. I don't like that either. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to redo this. I have to keep pushing it back into camera. I have to know where camera is. I'm going to redo this so I like it again. And I have to tell you guys, I have a little bit of, I have some performance anxiety because I've been really wanting to do this, but I have been so stressed out about doing it. So I'm going to remind myself that this is supposed to be fun and I should not turn it into something that is not fun. So here I go. I'm going to just start cutting things out and gluing them down, and we shall see how things go. This is very low in liquid. So I've got my favorite tools. Junky chip paintbrushes, junky paintbrush, scissors for cutting, glue. What else? Oh, you know what I don't have that I need? Oh, guess where it is. You can't see it, but it's buried underneath here. I'm going to find it. I found it. This, which I have cleaned and it's practically new. It is called a catalyst wedge, and it is for smoothing things out, but it's also a really good brayer when you're, not a brayer, it's a really good, Cherie, you can do this thing. Can't think of it. Okay. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is cover up. I'll just start here. And I have a tendency, if you've watched me before, I have a tendency to recreate similar shapes for my backgrounds because it helps me at least to get started. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to cover up this background with some of this orange stuff and possibly these were created on a different recording thing, but these are also sort of a similar background. I'm looking to get a regular solidish looking background so that I can put busy stuff on top of it. So let's see how that goes, shall we? This is interesting too. Okay. So the thing that I learned from reading Rex Ray's book is that he cuts a lot of stuff out. So I'm going to chop this up. I'm going to fold it a couple ways. Since this is larger, I'm not going to fold it a bunch of ways. Yeah. I'm going to You can't see this because I'm cutting off camera. It's not my intent. Okay. I have used this same shape for the backgrounds over and over again, but I have learned that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you put down because it gets covered up. And I have been studying Rex Ray's 2 books now for, I don't know, it's been several weeks, possibly longer. And I've learned a great deal about what I'm capable of doing. And it has nothing to do with what I see in his books, because I am not capable of doing almost any of the stuff that he does. But you'll see these are going to work for the background, and I actually like them way better cut up into pieces than I did before. Look at these pretty things. I'm going to, yeah, just do it. So you can see I'm doing it on the side again because this is such a giant canvas. But what I love about doing it sideways like this is, you know, I've mentioned it before, but I haven't really clarified it. I have some vision issues that, in spite of my appreciating the power of positive thinking, may have a very detrimental effect on my future with art. So I've got a very advanced case of 2, not 1, 2 eye diseases. I have an advanced case of glaucoma in both eyes, and wet macular degeneration in my left eye. So the interesting thing about that is that wet macular degeneration, well, let's start at the beginning. Glaucoma steals your vision from the outside in. Oh, look at this. Posca pens reactivate with glue. They are not permanent. All right, I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know it. So these are all smearing, which is fine because I'm going to cover them up anyways. Posca pens smear. So anyways, back to my story. So glaucoma steals your vision from the middle, from the outside. You start going blind from the outside. Wet macular degeneration steals it from the inside. So you start going blind right in front of your eyes. And I had an event one time, I don't even remember what year it was. I want to say 2017, where I was driving home from my studio one night, and I thought that I was experiencing the darkest night of the world, because I could not see anything. And for some reason, I closed my right eye, and once I closed it, I realized that I had lost the vision in my left eye. I had gone completely blind. Completely blind in my left eye. So, of course, I called my eye doctor and my psychic medium, you know, because I'd like both sides of this story. And it turned out that I had developed this eye disease. I don't know what causes it. I always think that there's a metaphysical cause for every illness, that, you know, state of mind. Like I always interpreted my losing my vision to a, I don't know, like an inability or an unwillingness to see something. Of course, when you tell your mainstream ophthalmologist that there's a metaphysical reason for you to go blind, they look at you. It's almost, it's a look that borders on pity, you know, because they are Rockefeller trained pharmaceutical pushers. I don't think they realize it when they sign up for it. A lot of them do, especially after 2020. A lot of them have realized that, yeah, it's a whole other story. Anyways, so, okay, how am I going to keep going on this? I'm just going to keep going. Yeah. Can you, I'd have to look and see. I have to keep looking and seeing. You can see that, okay. So I'm going to do the same thing I did there to this area here and cover up this bottom area. So my glaucoma started, I don't know, I think it was going on for a long time, but I became aware of it in around 2013. And when the lighting is right, when I'm driving, usually in my car, when the lighting is right, I can see the areas of shadow where I no longer have vision. You know, it's sort of like looking through, I don't know, a piece of thin fabric or something. So I can see, and I've been aware of being able to see that loss of vision for a long time. But it happens so slowly that, look at that smearing like that. I thought Posca pens were made out of acrylic paint. And acrylic paint usually does not smear once it dries, so that makes me think that Posca pens are made out of not acrylic ink. All right. So, yeah. So I could see it. I could see it happening. And I've learned to live with it, and I've really looked into, I don't know, like metaphysical reasons, like, you know, not what's wrong with my body, but why is my mind tripping me up? Right, that broke that up. Interesting, huh? So when I love what that did to that corner. Oh, this is fun. So when I went blind in my left eye, the first person I called after my doctor was a psychic medium, because even though my doctors thought it was funny that I thought that there was a psychological reason for me to go blind, I totally buy into it. So what I wanted to know was, what's going on? What can you tell me about this blindness that I've manifested? And her take was interesting. She said, you have checked out of life. You have stopped living life. Well, that's true. That's been true for a really long time, because 2020 just about killed me. It was not anything that I was capable of navigating without being damaged by it. So that was going on. All right, how about, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do it again right now. Because look at what just happened down here. Look at how I broke that up, and all those shapes are so interesting. All right, now I'm excited about this because I was putting this off. I've been putting this off for weeks, guys. All right, so now I'm going to move that up just a little bit. So one of the things that's really fun about, and I'm being totally sarcastic here, one of the things that's really fun about wet macular degeneration, which is where you go blind from the middle out, is that, and I'm sure that this is not true, but this is what they say, that the only treatment for wet macular degeneration is a injection in your eye, and they literally, it's so freaking gross, guys. I can talk about this without going all vasovagal. I don't know why, because it is disgusting every time I get it done. I cannot believe I'm getting it done. They hold your eye open with a clockwork orange speculum looking thing, and they stick a needle into your eye, which is supposed to do something with, they don't know. It does something to the blood vessels in the back that cause this leakage of whatever. It's disgusting. But not only is it disgusting, it is incredibly expensive. Each shot is, well, this is what they tell you it is. I don't trust that. I don't trust that story at all. Each shot is $2,600. And I need 4. Oh, just rip that up a little bit. I need 4 in a row, once a month, 4 in a row. And then I have a period of time where they don't do anything and let it percolate. And then I go back again for another round. So this is hard to read with so much pattern here. Let's do this. So it's gross. It really is gross. And up until, because wet macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness, I don't know if it's in the country or in the world, but the leading cause of blindness, these shots, because they probably are making so much money off of these shots, they haven't bothered to look into alternative treatments, are so expensive that we literally have a bunch of people walking around with a white cane in the world if these shots were not made available. So apparently the pharmaceutical companies don't make enough money to make them available for very long because the program has been discontinued. And for a person like me who is surviving on Social Security, that is pretty significant to try to, come here you. I've got wrinkly paper with wrinkly paper over it. So they're not offering that program any longer. People like me who have this eye disease have to pay for the treatment. That is very busy, but you know what? It breaks up all of that and gives me, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do the same thing across here. So, yeah, so that's challenging. And I'll tell you, when it first, I have, some of you who've been around me for a while know that I have very alternative ways of seeing the world. And I know this is going to sound like crazy talk, but I'm not crazy. I just don't think like other people. I don't think that this whole thing is real. I think we are in a simulation. I think this whole entire thing is a computer-generated video game that we're caught up in. I don't know who came up with it. I don't know who designed it. I don't know who's in charge of it. I don't know any of that stuff. But what I know is that we come here for reasons that we don't know, and we leave for reasons we don't know. Some of us stay for a long time. Some of us come in and check out immediately. What am I missing here? You. But we are here for reasons that we don't know, on a mission that we don't understand. And, you know, I know my feed is filled with parents who have lost their children. I'm one of them. We don't understand this. Parents who have lost a child walk around in it's a word that I really like because I think it's absolutely appropriate. We walk around in a constant stage of bewilderment. We have been hit with something that we don't understand, that we never will understand. Well, you know what? That makes me happy. That's going to be a lot to cover up, but at least it broke up this big ugly face thing that was going on here. So, just a little history. I'm going to jump around and I'll get back to my story. These papers were printed. I can put links in the description if I remember to do that, but I bet I will. They were printed in a session that I named something like Rex Ray inspired gel prints, Nova colors or something. These are all made on newsprint. Newsprint, now this is so stained you can't tell, but see if I can find a clean piece. Newsprint is like this. It's like a off-white packing material that you can buy from, I don't know, I buy mine at the home store. And it is just a thin paper that's usually used to wrap your dishes when you're getting ready to move and stuff like that. And I really enjoy painting, using it for paper because it lays down nicely. But I'll tell you what it also does. You see these wrinkles that I'm trying to smooth down? Newsprint, once it absorbs enough water, it starts to buckle, just like regular, you know, like any kind of paper. Okay, so that is pretty wild. I'm going to flip this thing around, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep going right up the edge. Do this area next. Let me make sure I've got it inside a camera. Hold everything. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, now I'm gonna, can you see how wild that is? I wonder what it looks like on camera. Looks pretty wild, but I did break up those big shapes and I can always cover it up. So one of the things I've discovered about myself while I'm doing this type of work is that I've become pretty courageous. It takes me a while sometimes with my performance anxiety to make myself move and get something done. I think this is going to be, all right, this is going to be next. It takes me a while sometimes to get myself moving because I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed. But once I'm doing it, it's not, I have a really easy time just chopping things up and laying them down. A lot of times what I start out with ends up looking absolutely nothing like what I first started out with, which is probably what's going to happen with this. Okay, there's one. You see I'm doing the same shape over and over again. For anybody new, I started getting interested in this cutout stuff because I discovered an artist named Rex Ray, which eventually I'll probably bring my book out and show you guys, who does all these cutouts in these absolutely almost perfect symmetrical shapes, which I don't know how to do. But I used to just tear paper and try to create a grid or something. I'm playing around with this now, and this is too much fun. Okay, now I'm going to cover up this thing. And look, I'm going to run out of stuff. You'd think I would have prepared myself a little more. Yeah, this is clogged too. But I didn't. All right. Let's start with you. And look, you can't even tell. I'm using the same cutout shape over and over, and you can't even tell. So these cutouts, I have determined that for new collage artists, and this style won't be for everybody because I'm not sure how much it's even for me, but for new collage artists that are trying to figure out their style, these cutouts are just little, they're just really tiny, they're little shapes that don't even have to be, you can see that I'm breaking up patterns here by using these shapes, introducing something new. I can still see the vertical there. Look at how it's breaking up those big shapes. I love this. I'm going to finish gluing this down, stop my camera for a minute, make sure everything, I don't trust my technology at all. Make sure everything's happy, and then we'll take a look at what I'm going to do next to cover things up. All right, I'm going to, this is a lot. We've had 90-degree weather, and I was hoping that this was going to be a day when I would be able to put this outside in the sun, but we don't have any sun, and I had to close my windows just now because it was freezing in here. Yesterday it was 100 degrees. Today it's, I don't know, 65. But they don't, just so you know, I just want you to know, no one is manipulating our weather. That's a total conspiracy theory. It's not true on any level. There is no weather manipulation taking place. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, now this. Well, it's getting harder to see because I'm layering on top of layers on top of layers, but maybe that's how I'm going to get rid of this big toothy grin with the blinky eyes. Okay, so I'm not going to finish the story unless I just finish it. But so the short story is, your girl, who you like watching make art, and I like making it, there may come a time when I may not be able to do that. And I have it's very difficult for me to even say that out loud, because I personally believe that our state of mind has a whole lot to do with our health than we would like to think it does. So my being in a state of mind that says I'm going blind is a definite contributor to going blind. So there's a part of me that does not like to acknowledge what's going on with my vision. And there's another part of me that is, kind of buying into it. That's a lot of chaos there. That's okay. We'll figure it out. So I don't know what's going to happen with my vision, and I don't know how long I can do this. But I know that I'm enjoying myself. Can you see my brush, guys? Here it is. I know that I'm enjoying myself. Once I get started, I have a very difficult time getting started. I'm enjoying it. You guys are enjoying it. Gives me something to look forward to when I'm not down at the well house trying to figure out why my 55-member community doesn't have any water, which is my responsibility to make sure that we do. Yeah, so I enjoy this. And I'm working large lately, which I have always, I don't know what I'm not sure what the scale is, why I've always wanted to work large, like what's the appeal? But I have, and I do, and I'm enjoying it. But I'll tell you, I do think about should the time come where I am not able to do this, which honestly can make me very sad when I let it in. It just seems like, you know, like what kind of dirty trick, what kind of joke is it, cosmic joke, that a visual artist would go blind. I can't be the only one. So, you know, my brother, you've heard him play guitar. If you're new here and you haven't heard him play guitar, eventually this will become so repetitious that I'll have my brother play guitar for you, so I don't have to talk the whole entire time. You see what this thing is? I'm jumping all over, but you know what? I always jump all over. This is a catalyst wedge. It is rubbery, but it has a rigid edge, and it's great for making things lay down flat, which is awesome. Okay, I got a lot of pattern here, so maybe what I'll do, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to let this dry for a little while because it's a lot easier to glue stuff down when it's not all thick. I'm going to let it dry for a little while, and I'm going to come back and see if I can't start to quiet things down. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but you'll find out when I do. BRB. Okay, I took that into the bathroom and gave it a blow dry. And even though this is dry on the top, but it's still damp underneath. So this is going to seem, I have to laugh at myself because I put all this work into covering it up, and now I'm going to cover what I've covered up. So this area, so let me tell you what I'm thinking about for this while I'm contemplating how I'm going to go. These dark oranges. It's pretty patterned. I'm going to get a book. Hold on. This is a different colorway. It's not the right colorway. But if you see what Rex Ray does, and I've got a lot of reflection, so I can't tell if you can see this well, but he does stylized plants. Very, very stylized. You could say that they look like they're in pots, but you don't know if they actually are. Hold on. As an example, look at this. These colors are all different, but he's cut out these swoopy little things, and he's got things growing up out of them. That's what I'm thinking I want to try to do here, but I need to quiet this way down because this is hysterical right now, and I can't put anything on top of this with any kind of meaning until I get rid of the chaos. So I'm going to just take some of these dark papers, these dark orange papers. That's what's going to cover them up. That's too fluffy, too busy. And if I get enough solidness over this, then I will be able to respond to it. I think the next thing I'm going to try to do, all right, just do it. I'm going to I'm going to take this. I'm just going to start, gluing down some more. Maybe I'll just stick it down anywhere. Maybe I'm just going to stick it down there. I don't know why there, but I did. I did it. I don't even know how to talk about this, guys, because I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. I guess what I'm trying to do is disguise this cacophony that I've created. Just going to try to disguise it so that I have something that I can glue things over where you'd actually be able to see them. So while I'm doing stuff that I don't understand, so that I don't get too caught up in it, I'll finish what I'm going to tell you about my story, about my eyes. So I have, like I said, I try not to give it too much attention because I'm not interested in a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if I'm going to lose my vision, I am going to absolutely have to have some method of self-expression. I'm not a musician for sure, but I am a singer. I used to sing Sweet Adelines, which is women's a cappella chorus, 4-part harmony. So I can sing. And I own a guitar, although it has become my brother's favorite guitar. And usually, I'll tell you, the way that it works with my brother Russell is possession is 9/10 of the law. Yeah. If you leave it at my brother's house for longer than a minute, you don't own it anymore. So my guitar is there, but I have made it clear that should the day come where my eyes don't serve me but my ears do, I'm going to need that guitar back. So for now, when you listen to him play on guitar on my videos, that's what you're listening to. My brother playing my guitar, which is awesome. And I asked him, if I can't see the frets, how am I going to know? And he said, well, they say that when you can't see, that your hearing becomes more acute, and your sense of touch maybe. So I will, since I'm not going to be able to drive or do all of those things that a not dead yet person can do. Okay, that's quieting that down a little bit. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go straight up the side now, bring it down closer to me. So according to him, I can learn. I can learn to play. And honestly, if you have enough time on your hands and you're motivated enough, you can learn to do all kinds of stuff. So I'll learn. I hope I don't have to learn. I would like to learn how to play guitar. I think I would find it very gratifying. But I am much more interested in being a visual artist than a musician. I have my musical world. I was on the road with a band when I lived in Vermont. When I got out of the Navy, I moved to Vermont. And I joined a band called Katona. They were from Katona, New York. I don't remember how I even got the audition. I don't remember if someone knew them and knew that they were looking for someone. They were a guy band, and word on the street was that if you were going to get any attention at all, you needed a girl up front. I'll spare you the interpretation of the word T and A, but that's what they needed, and that's what they found with me. I don't know that any of the band members were particularly in love with my singing voice, but they thought I looked pretty good on stage, so I got the job. But you know what? That's not for that lifestyle. That's a crappy lifestyle. I did not enjoy being on the road at all. I had great bandmates. They were all, I think everybody was married except for the drummer, Al. Al was always my roommate because he didn't have a wife that would mind him being my roommate. But Al, oh my God, Al was so pretty. He was from Puerto Rico. And he sang like Steve Perry from Journey, and we did a lot of Journey. And Al had, as they say, a girl in every port. So I would be over there trying to wind down from the night on stage, get some sleep, and Al's over there with his newest band member. Oh, Albie, oh, Al. I was like, oh my God, Al, you're killing me, dude. Yeah, there was definitely a price tag for being Al's roommate. So I've had my year on the, it was probably only a year that I was with them, because being in a band is much more romantic sounding than it actually is. We were on the road. We stayed in hotels. We played Vermont, Massachusetts, the Cape, a lot on the Cape, Massachusetts, some in New Hampshire, some in Maine, mostly Vermont, Massachusetts, mostly the Cape. And you'd, drive for hours to get to wherever you were going to play, and then you'd spend, I don't remember how long it was, but I'm going to guess it might have been as long as 5 hours setting up. Hard work, heavy pieces of equipment. Now everything's digital, and I rarely go out to listen to live music, but when I do, I look at these tiny little speakers that make giant noise, and our bottoms, which were the bass speakers, they were like the size of a small car. I mean, it was a big project to get that whole place set up. Okay, see how much quieter that looks, guys? It's impossible I can put stuff over that without it being lost. I've got these stylized flowers in my mind. Okay, that's working for me. This right now is not. That area up there is not. So I'm going to do something similar here. I'm going to quiet this down. Yeah, so I have a few things going on that give me time to think about who I am and what kind of life I want to live and what's important to me, and trying hard to keep a positive state of mind when all it takes is me to open my eyes to see that my world it's getting smaller. It's getting darker. You may find that the way that I'm working right now becomes a more common way for me to work, because the limitations that I'm dealing with are challenging my ability to do the kind of work that I want to do. But I'm a pretty determined person, and I will. Who can see a pair of orange scissors in normal? I will find a way. I will find a way to have meaning in my life, whether I can see or not. I'm going to go quiet, which is kind of like a joke with my community. Oh, she's going to go quiet. She's going to talk the whole entire time. I actually think I am going to go quiet for a little while so that I can cover this up and recover from this story I just told you. I don't want to get emotional every time. The last time I worked on this piece, I was freaking crying as well. So I don't want to be crying. I'll just watch what I do, you know. I'll play with some things here. Okay, so I went and kind of organized my papers a little bit. I've got as much, I don't know, kind of reddish background on here. I love that. I think that looks so cool. At first I was kind of wondering if it was a waste for me to put down my background, but I don't know that I would have, I think you just got to be willing to let yourself do what you do when you're trying to create art, and it's a new art form for you. You just have to figure it out. So what I pictured in my mind while I was laying in bed not sleeping, because I don't sleep, never have, they're definitely going to be stylized. So if you remember when I started out, there were, I don't remember now, 2 or 3 flowers here, long thing, some sort of container. So I see that happening, but I also see it sort of feeding up into this, and I don't know, something coming down. I want it to be stylized because I keep saying I'm not a big fan of realism. Maybe that's bullshit, because This is a flower. It's obviously a flower. You could think it was something else, but before you thought it was something else, you'd say it's a flower. So maybe it's okay for me to just go all flowery. But I'm picturing these very stylized, and now I'm starting to wonder if I have the right papers. So I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to go through some papers, and then I'm going to come back and maybe introduce something new into this. Really? Okay. I'm very visual, and usually something starts with a picture. And what I just saw in my mind's eye was a very long, skinny, stylized. There are these flowers that I like to draw. This is going to be one of them. Okay, I've got this thing in my mind. Let's just see how it... You know what? I'm not going to be self-conscious about the shape. I'm just going to cut what I think I saw. I don't want it to... I don't want to try too hard to get it to look like the thing, because I don't know. Is that lazy, or is that just a different... I just like these fun little shapes that are playful. So I watched a couple of videos. This art form is called cut paper. It's either cut paper or paper cut. I think it's cut paper is the, one of the keywords that people use to post their stuff. And some of the artists that are doing cut paper they're not messing around. They are making some serious art. I'm talking about intricate, gorgeous, beautiful cutouts. I think I would like to work in detail like that, but I'm not. Yeah, that would be a big ask for me to have to design like that. Okay. So, I don't know if anything's going to stay where I'm putting it, but I'm just going to put it. Maybe that. I'm going to cut it up, so it won't matter. This is actually fun, guys, because I consider this to be a low barrier for entry. You do learn how to manage your scissors. You will, I'm even getting a lot better with spinning the item like I just did just then. No. All right, I'm getting precious about my papers because this is all I have of this, and I want to fix this flower. I can fix that flower out of these pieces. Okay, this is what I want to use, but I don't have a lot of this, and I want to make that flower a little more shapely. I've talked about this before when I've been making art, but I even mentioned it at the beginning of this. I get a little, sometimes I get a little anxious about what I do here. And I don't want to do that. I don't want that. I don't like the way it feels, because it is absolutely steeped in judgment of my ability to make art. And I have proven to myself and a bunch of other people that I'm completely capable of doing it. It's not perfect. It's not high art, but it's art. And I got to give myself credit for trying to do this, fit publicly like this. Okay, I like these guys. I'm going to glue those guys. Well, let me think these through. Okay, so I would like that. They need to be grounded in something. I don't want them just up in the air like that. So maybe what's going to happen, maybe they're not going to be so wonky. Maybe their heads are going to be tilted, but their body Fun. I'm having fun, guys. Can't believe I was being such a baby. But hey, I'll tell you another thing. I'm jumping all over the place, but that's the way it is. Go on my website and look at what I have been doing. I'm not asking you to buy shit. It would be nice if you did, but that's not the point. The point is, wait till you see what I've been doing. I have built my website out. It's ginormous compared to what I used to do. I used to put stuff up that you could look at, but I didn't want you to buy anything because I didn't want to deal with running a store. Because I was worn out from being in business. All right. Maybe I should just glue it down. Okay, I'm doing it. Oh, and you know what I've done? My brush is, is it a rock? Oh, no, it's not a rock. It's awesome. All right. This is awesome because I can lean over this. Look what I'm doing. I can lean over this and kind of see what I'm doing. That'll be the change that I'll have to enact, you know, eventually, because if I weren't so stubborn, it should be enacted now. But if I'm doing any kind of work that requires me to see detail, enacted now. But if I'm doing any kind of work that requires me to see detail, I need to be doing it here so that I can see it. Then it won't be so stressful, because I don't like having my head in the camera. Everybody says it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. I don't like it when I see somebody do it. And so I make, you know, it's not like the worst possible thing, but I would just rather. Where do you want to live? Yeah. Yeah, I would just rather not have it in the camera. These are some pretty wonky looking flowers, guys. I like them. This is fun. This is not like, I'm not really thinking about composition. I am, but not the way I do when I'm trying to make a, you know, a collage that doesn't represent, you know, that doesn't have a particular recognizable thing. Now I kind of screwed up with the way I'm going to do my sticks, because that one I kind of screwed up, but let me get this one in first. Shit. Can you come up? Say yes. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. All right, let's do this. Look, I'm leaning over and I can see everything. This is awesome. Come here, you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. These are so cute. I know I started talking about something a second ago and it's freaking gone, guys. Don't grow old. It's a trap. Oh, wait a minute. 90%, 96% of the people on this channel are women over 55. And the rest are men under 55. Not men over 55. So, yeah. So if I forget my story, remind me in the comments, and you know, one day I'll get it taken care of again. Yeah, this is pretty. Am I wrong when I say that this is entry level? Doesn't this feel like anybody could do this? Don't you feel like you could teach like a kid to do this? Because kids are awesome. They're great artists, because they are not trying to make something beautiful because they don't know how. And neither do I. So I'll just do Those are very silly. Okay, this is, I'm really enjoying myself. I don't know what's going to happen up there. It feels like it's going to be freaking stylized vines or something like that. Yeah, so don't grow old, guys. It's a trap. Oh, it's like a scam, you know. You look in the mirror for all these years and you see, you know, a pretty familiar face looking back at you. No big surprises. And then one day, I don't know, something happens and you look in the mirror and you're like, what the hell? When did that happen? Okay, you know what? It's almost 3. And I'm going to, and the light is fading. It looks like we're going to get rain. But even besides that, I would like to contemplate this for a little while because it benefits me to do that. So I'm going to sign off for today. Probably come in here and look at these things. Sometimes I come in here and end up recording because I can't stop myself. But for now, no, I'd like to contemplate. So I'll see you soon. Brand new day. I'm back in my studio and I'm getting ready to deal with a few things here. So one of the things that I like about giving myself the day off, or the, you know, stopping before I'm cross-eyed, is being able to see what I've done with a little bit of clarity. And I'm kind of not in love with what I did yesterday. So, and I think this is because I might think that there are some expectations, but so this is what I've done. These flowers that I've carved up here and put there are maybe a lot more playful than I had in mind, that I wish that I had done. And this, I feel like I have to cover it up again. But what I did come up with that I think is going to be fun is somewhere in this general area, I have these little silly black and white things that I think would make cute little flowers coming up here. But this has thrown me off. So I think before I deal with cute black and white flowers, I have to make a decision about this. And without belaboring it too much, I feel like it needs to go. Which tells me that maybe I'm going to cover it up with something that will disappear into the background and maybe give me another opportunity to deal with this area. So, without belaboring it, I'm going to do what I did the other day, which is chop these up and lay them down and see if I can make a less literal interpretation here. These are way more playful than I had in mind. What I had done before was more obviously inspired by Rex Ray. And these are not at all like what he did, or does, or did. But I think it's going to have to be okay that I carve out a specific look that looks like Sure E instead of Rex Ray. So you've seen me do this before. I've got these little shapes that I'm going to cover this up with. Sorry for the repetition, guys, but I don't love those. I don't love that big literal looking pot. I don't know how to fill in the space below it, so I started listening to what I was recording yesterday, and I realized, typical for me, and I've mentioned it before, I start stories and never finish them. So the story that I started and want to finish so that I can move on is, I had mentioned that after calling my eye doctor about my vision anomaly, I called a psychic medium. She told me I had checked out of life. That's a true story. I had. But she also was telling me I had been doing what I call becoming the observer. And the observer is becoming aware of your environment as opposed to just moving through it and not even noticing that it's there. So I had become an observer, but I did not feel like that was an unhealthy way to respond to my environment. Sure. I find being an observer as being a very neutral place in which to reside. Not getting all tangled up in all of the things that are going on in the world. Not buying into, I've mentioned a couple of times that I sort of have owned the title conspiracy person. I call myself a conspiracy realist. But I had rather decided I was going to own that title. Not take it in its intent to disparage people that ask questions, but to be less involved, less outraged, less ranty about the things that are going on in the world and who's really behind them and all that kind of jazz. So even though I hold my psychic medium in high regard, what she has access to that a lot of us don't is information in the field, similar to how you might be near someone that you know pretty well and be able to tell by their energy that they're off. They're not their usual self. You can feel it. Okay, so what I'm going to play with now is I have cut out a bunch of these. I had created when I was still playing with this thing, but these are these little black and white things that I have interpreted into flowers. And what I think I'd like to do, all right, I'm trying to not to be in my head. Okay. And I've also cut out these little strips of shorthand books. And I'm just going to go for it. I am going to add these little strips of shorthand things, which are in theory, going to be the stems to my flowers. And so I don't know, do any of you guys see the world the way I see it? Am I alone? Am I alone out here, feeling like this is a fake world? And that's not to say that I don't believe in a God or a higher power or I don't know, an intelligent force. I believe in all of those things. I just don't think that the way that we've been told it is, just don't believe that's the way it it actually is. So I have one friend, Kate, that I can talk to about simulation theory. And I know that she buys into it as much as I do. And I know she won't ridicule me. It's okay to be different. Gosh, I spent so much time back in the day trying not to be different, trying to be like everybody else. It's a lot of work. Okay, so I need this little book again. I need another page, because I feel like those are pretty predictable heights, and I'd like to shake them up a little bit. You know, this little pattern thing that I've come up with here is quite a bit different than what I originally had in mind. But you know what? That might be the story of my life. The only thing that I've done recently that came out even close to what I had in mind was my little spirit people. My last collage. It looks kind of like what I had in mind. Everything else has been a total surprise. Okay, there's some little buds. Now I've got these silly little flowers, and this is a solid reason to use a glue stick. I am going to go dry this. I want these to be dry so I can move them around and put them in different places. So BRB, guys. BRB. Okay, those are dry. Now I can put these little things down and figure out where they want to go without having them stick all over everything. So, let's see. Okay, that's where I'm going to go, because I don't know if belaboring them is going to make a difference. I'm missing a little bud right there. I'm going to go quiet for a little while. Okay, that took literally 3 minutes in the sun. And now they're all dry again. Sunny days. Okay, so I learned from experience the other day when I tried to show you this thing standing up that you can't see it. But I do want to try to show you where I am right now. And I can't see this, so I'm hoping that you can. So I've got these little black and white flowers here, which has created a lot of vertical here, which I'm not 100% in love with, but whatever. I did patch in a little bit of this purple here to give that flower a little bit of better shape, and I just need to clean up my gold. I've got an opportunity here to do something, but I don't know what. And up here, this feels like it's going to be this silly little pen work thing that I like to do. So, let's see what's going to happen next. Okay, total experiment, guys, but you know what this whole entire thing is? So I'm going to pretend that that's a little pot, which is pretty literal, but okay, I'm going to hold that down there. I'm going to take this pencil and cut out some shapes. I'm just drawing on this with pencil. I'm sure you can't see it because I can tell you my eyes can barely see it. Sorry, bug. You can't stay. Sorry. Okay, can't see it, but I've got these tiny little, boy, I can barely see that myself. I should have drawn it on the paper side. Yeah, I'll scroll through this. Oh, it's actually kind of fun. Look what it looks like. All right, I'm gluing it. So these little shapes fit right between the little stems. And they're wonky and cute. Hold on. Yep, they're wonky and cute. And it's probably going to require, it's a large swath of plainness, and maybe that's what it needs because, you know, I seem to have to make more is more out of everything. Okay, so that's not terrible. At least it's, at least right now it's not. Okay, this tells me this color down here needs some of it up there. But let me tell you what I'm thinking about with this. We'll see. We'll see if it goes that way. I've got this idea that these are going to be interlocking. Oh, that's a lot of blue there. If it's not blue, what else would it be, guys? Is it green? Look at how that looks. Look at how that green looks. It might be green. So I've got the green up there. What if it's something beansy like these? I don't know if I'm blocking the camera, but if I have little sections of blue, this could almost look like some sort of plant life. I like this green down here, but I'm not sure about this shape. Okay. Let me see what else I have. I have to keep coming by. I have to come see what you got. Oh, yeah, that would be like, you'd be going, no. Yeah, all right, no. I heard you. That's why I went and looked. Okay. I'm going to go back to this for a minute because I just really like the way that red feels up against that green. I like it a little bit better higher. This is going to be a challenge. I can see myself detailing this. You know, I'm going to do it because I'm scared to. I'm so scared, guys. I'm scared to because I'm not convinced it's right. But I'll tell you what I like about it, what makes me think it's okay. This is very busy. It's very vertical. This is solid. It is not what's there. And it feels like we need a break from what's there because I might have overdone it a little bit. I really like it when you guys comment and tell me, oh yeah, I wouldn't have done that, I would have done this. Not that I can fix anything, but it's interesting to hear another perspective on what might have been a better solution. So have at it. Don't be scared. You can tell me what you think. I did it. It's down and it's not going anywhere. And I didn't draw on it first, but whatever. Okay. So we got something quiet here, something large up against all this smallness. We've got, I do like what that little bit of blue brings up there. And I even like those little shapes up against those big shapes. So I'm going to spin that around, bring that down here, and give that a little glue. So someone told me in my comments that if you spray your hands with alcohol, you can get the glue off. That might be true, but it didn't work for me. And I can tell you the reason why not is because my hands were completely covered with glue and it was very dry. For that matter, I couldn't even use them. My thumb would not scroll on my phone. It was having absolutely nothing to do with scrolling. It was sticking to the glass. So, if anybody's got another, oh, maybe hand sanitizer, although that is so filled with toxins and reminds me of the worst time of my life. So, this glue dries like a rubber glove, like a total rubber glove. So, not hand sanitizer because I'd rather have rubber fingers. I'm going to complain about it, but I'm not going to take any suggestions, okay? Hand sanitizer. Okay, so that's a little thing that I could turn into a little plantish thing. Okay, what do you think, guys? I can see that I can fix some areas of, I can put some orange in there and make that a little easier to read. Okay. Okay, this is going outside because it'll take seconds, and I'll be back in seconds. Okay, guys, I I contemplated this for a while, and I've decided that the next thing I'm going to do with it is do some pen work. And I hope I'm done, because I found out that even this, the glue just took it right off. I added that little piece in there. So let me just give you a quick little, I know approximately how far I can go. And then I got to turn off to the side because my camera is hanging from that. So I got this little flower ass thing here. Oh, almost knocked all my pens on the floor. Hold on, guys. And then this big green thing here, which I'm not that comfortable with, but we'll see. You can always cover it up. It's like the easiest thing about this stuff. Okay, so this has been out in the sun for a while. It's pretty dry. The routine when I do this kind of work is to speed my camera up, speed the video up 8 times, because watching somebody detail can be, can be lengthy. But I'm going to start here. Something might happen there, up there that you can't see. That's the plan. Okay, well, I've got a new challenge, because why not? Okay, so my clickers that turn my camera on and off, yeah, no, they don't really want to do that anymore. So I just have to climb up on a chair every time I want to stop recording. But what I have here are Uniball Signo pens. I like black, white, and gold. I use them all the time. I use the Posca pens all the time. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I a little bit overdid it. But I like it better than what I had before, but in a very different way. So how do I show this to you? This is what I did on the top. I felt like I needed to do something with these, but only because they were there. They weren't asking for anything in particular. So I've done that. I roughed these up a little bit so they didn't look so spare. I did probably too much here and wish I had kept more empty space between it and the vines, but whatever. Added a little bit of doodle-a-doo here. And I think that might be it. So what I'll do at the end of this, I'll get this down on the floor and photograph it so I can get the whole thing, and then I'll show sections of it and the whole thing. So, you know, once I get this edited, I'll add that to the last thing so you can see it all, because I realize how small it is. I mean, how tight it is. And that, I think I'm done. So I would like to say goodbye to you guys. I'd like to thank you for hanging around with me. I'll keep moving this around. Thank you for hanging around with me while I put how many layers? Who knows? I've covered this thing up so many times. But it doesn't scare me to cover it up again if I need to. This feels like it might need something, but I'm gonna let it not be something busy. Those vines are better up there than down here. Anyways, my name is Cherie Burlington. I'm an artist, an errant, an angel mom, and I really enjoyed making this piece of art, and I apologize for taking so long to get it in front of you, but I was having issues. So everything's good on my end. I have some vision stuff, but I'm good, and my spirits are mostly good. Everything's good. I hope you guys are good. Thank you for hanging out, and I hope to hang out with you again. See you later. Goodbye.